So is your family ready to really learn what wealthy people do? Would you like to know how you can increase your cash flow and how you can leave a legacy? Well, today we're going to uncover some of that, and I am so excited to have you meet Cheryl. Great name, right? She's going to come on and talk to us today, and it's funny because Cheryl, I always thought was in this space of for just entrepreneurs, and when we had this conversation, I found out, oh my God, she has so much amazing information that's really relevant, obviously to entrepreneurs, but to families, and so I'm so excited for you to get to connect with her today. My name is Cheryl Bassett, and I am the founder of Unstoppable Connections, international bestseller, and creator of the award-winning Unstoppable Family Meeting Toolkit. I am also the host of the show Kitchen Table Conversations as part of the Edge Network and the Global One platform. So I get to share 4 gifts, and families do tap into those 4 gifts that create this unshakable, unbreakable foundation for how families can come together where everyone feels heard and respected and supported and celebrated in that process. If you would like to learn more about the work I do for connecting families, you can go to unstoppableconnections.com. And if you have an idea for this show or you'd like to be on the show, you can reach out to me at kitchentableconversations.com. Now, what I love to do is set an intention for every show. These shows are all like we cover the fun stuff to the tough stuff and everything in between, but they're all designed to ignite conversations, to strengthen the family, and to create a positive ripple out into the world. So what we do is we tap into one of the gifts. I mentioned the 4 gifts, and the 4th gift is the gift of love. And how we unwrap that gift is by choosing to celebrate the person who came here today to share with us her heart, her beauty, her talents, and her gifts that she wants to ripple out into the world. So I'm so excited for you to meet her, and in a true celebration of who she is. Let me read her bio real quick, and then I'm going to let you meet her. Cheryl Fields has been an entrepreneur for over 35 years when she had to take a new direction. She realized she knew how business worked, but not how money worked. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So she decided to become a financial advisor and was hired by a global investment firm right out of school. That was in 2007. We'll all remember that in 2008, the stock market crashed and she saw people losing much of what they had spent their entire lives, right, working for. So she asked herself, how could I believe in a system that lets this happen to our families? She found out what wealthy people do, and for the last 12 years, she's been teaching how to have both time and money, how to increase your cash flow in your business and in your life, have tax-free income that you will not outlive, and then leave that legacy for those that you love and for the causes that you care about. So obviously, huge topic that we're talking about today, and I'm so excited to have Cheryl share with us. Welcome.
Welcome. Hello, Cheryl. It's great to see you. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So I know your bio did a little bit of justice to why, right, that you're in the space that you're in, but tell us just a little bit more about that journey and your passion around all of it.
Well, so I had always been an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to do that early in life. And so I got married and actually ended up being a single mom for a while. And so my girls learned that too. And it was such an important lesson. Bootstrapping, this wasn't something that I had a silver spoon. I was bootstrapping. And so like I like to call it building a plane while you fly it, right? And so anyways, things, my life evolved. My kids grew up, and then it was late in 2007 when I decided to, make the switch. Well, it was about 2003 actually, but I decided to make the switch, and I was really so excited. I thought financial advisors knew everything about money, and I thought that they knew how it worked, and I was so excited about that. And then I saw what happened in 2008, and thank goodness. I kind of love to say that I'm the only person that didn't lose a client in 2008. It's only because I didn't have one, because I'm not willing to share this, go out and tell people they should put their money in this up and down roller coaster we call the stock market. And I heard people in the other cubicles around me saying, let's buy this, sell that, whatever. And all the while it was draining. They were doing the best they could, but it was draining down the resources of the American family. And I went to bed every night sick at my stomach. And so as I mentioned, it was like tears on the pillow. But one morning I woke up with a really great question that was laid on my heart that night, which was, wait, what do wealthy people do? And so that's when I actually read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I started talking with wealthy people, and I found that there's been a way that we can build our wealth. Started the same time as the IRS, early in the 1900s, and we can actually build our wealth the same way that they do, to have time and money. So that's really the why. And of course, I'm just so passionate. I've been speaking across the country and love helping the American families. And now I have grandkids. You know, my kid, one of my daughters got married, so I've got 4 grandkids now. And it's really exciting just to see how we can take these strategies and actually bring them to, the kitchen table.
Right. Well, one of the reasons I was so excited to have this shared is that I think, and I know I'm not alone when I say this, but I had like such a weirdness around money, and a lot of it came from my childhood. My dad was, he actually was phenomenal with his money, but I don't know that we ever sat down and talked about it.
Right.
Like I didn't really understand it. And in fact, I felt like, it was just something that you had at times, and you didn't really know, like I knew nothing about our family finances, and I knew nothing about what that meant. And so I just believe that conversation, right, even at the kitchen table, just really needs to happen.
Yeah. So true. And as women, especially, I mean, and if it goes back to childhood, sometimes it doesn't crop up to be a problem until we're married. And then, maybe he handles the money, and then we go to the meetings, but we don't understand the first thing about it. And that's what I kind of felt like was my past when I looked at it. It was like, I didn't understand all the things they were talking about. And so, but it's easy to be intimidated. And that's what is so amazing to me. And when I realized the system was really meant to serve Wall Street, the banks, and the IRS, was when I realized that money is actually like after air, right? We have to breathe. But after that, we have to buy things, right? And it takes money. So it's not that money is important. It's about what money can do for you. And, we're not back in the days where we can barter, for, I'll trade you this for that or whatever. We need money to survive, to have our utilities. We need money to have clothes and to have chairs to sit on. I mean, I couldn't have made the chair I'm sitting on. And so we have to realize that money isn't a really important part, but it's such a taboo. And once I realized it's not a taboo in wealthy families, it's talked about a lot. And it's something that we can actually, not focusing on money as, getting a big stack of money, and wealthy people are, bad people because they've taken from other people or whatever. Money is simply an exchange of value. And so if we value, we have every right to be able to charge for that. And so do other people. And our word currency comes from the Latin word, from a river to flow. Our currency is supposed to be flowing. We're not supposed to be afraid to spend money. We're not supposed to be able to be afraid to receive money for what we do. And so it's just kind of been a whole thing where if the government can get you to put your money in tax deferred accounts, IRAs, 401ks, all those things, Roth, 403b, they can get you to do that, then your money's off the table. You can't really use it, and you have to go to the bank and pay the interest for the money. And we talk all about that in my course that I talk to you about Rhythm of Riches, but we explain how all that works. And when you see the curtain pulled back, you're like, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense. And so, it's no wonder that so many people, why is it they don't even teach it in schools, right? I mean, I have clients I have one client, one of my favorite stories, it was he and his wife wanted to work with me, and the husband was like, I was talking about some of these principles, and he was like quiet, and I said, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he goes, I have an MBA in business, and I've never heard of this. And I was like, and it's the principles of it. It's not any kind of, it's nothing that's like offshore or, loopholes or whatever. You're seeing the IRS tax code, but we just have to know the rules, and then we can play by them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned your Rhythm of Riches. Is that where you're teaching some of this?
Yes. So it's a 4-day live boot camp. They can go to rhythmofriches.com. And I think the first one's scheduled the first couple of weeks of January. And it's a 4-day live boot camp where I do a 45-minute session. And I just teach these strategies. I teach the 4 pillars of financial security and having a rock solid financial foundation. There's no cost to it. And I love to tell people if they like what they learn, we help them implement the strategies for free as well. So we're not ever charging for what we're doing. We just really love to get out and give back to the American family, because Lord knows we all need it right now.
So I don't know that we had this in the notes, but real quickly, what are the 4 pillars?
So they're lifetime benefits. It's increasing your cash flow. It's leaving a legacy, and it's actually being able to save on taxes, because one of the most important things, that we like to teach is that when you can save money on taxes, that money goes right back into your lifestyle money. And we teach people how to save money on interest. And so when you save money on interest, that money goes right back into your lifestyle. So, financial advisors will tell you that there's two types of money that you save and money that you spend. And their goal, they get paid on how much money they can put into the save column, which means you probably won't be able to use it for a couple of decades, right? But we don't look at it all that way. We say there's three kinds of money: the money you save, the money you spend, and the money that slips through your fingers. And so we help bring that money that slips through your fingers back to you. Of course, we're not taking fees out of that. We give that money back to you so that you can then decide whether you want to save it or spend it. It's up to you at that point, but at least you have the choice. And so we talk a lot about, cash flow and really enjoying the money that you're making in a way that it's making sense for you, your family, and your future.
Yeah, I love that. So, and this isn't something we talked about, but when I would go to workshops, whatever it was, around motivational workshops, personal growth, Think and Grow Rich is a book I love. And, I've been to workshops around that. It's just like, and that book keeps surfacing, by the way. So I went and got a copy again, because I'd given mine out to someone. So I went and got another copy. So I'm going to reread that. But when I would go to those workshops, it was really, for me, I would find myself highlighting or circling things that I thought I could go back and share with my children. Of course, my big passion is sit down and have this family meeting, connect, really have a conversation, right? So is it fair to say that if people were to go to this Rhythm of Riches .com and do your program as adults, that there would be things they could be highlighting and circling and then taking back and sharing at the kitchen table?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think part of it, like what you already, alluded to, Cheryl, is that as a child, it wasn't a topic that came up. And so it's kind of like something that you think, well, maybe I shouldn't bring it up. As a kid, you don't want to make your parents mad. And you're like, well, if they're not talking about it, I guess I shouldn't. Or others, so many people have been a part of really, contentious conversations. More families break up over money than anything else, I think. I mean, it's like ridiculous the amount of, fights and problems that money can bring. But it's not really that. It's just that if they would be having the conversations and agreeing and understanding on the, like, uniting, in their goals and having the conversations, I think it would save so many relationships and so many, again, not only just, man to woman or, couple to couple, person to person, partner to partner, but save the relationships between parents and children when it comes to the topic of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's true.
We have the conversations really young. When I go over to see my grandkids, and my little granddaughter's so cute all the time. She always brings me like a penny or a quarter. She doesn't really know the difference, but she'll say, "Here, Mimi, I want you to have money." She goes, "I have so much, I don't know what to do with it." That's because you have conversations at young, which isn't hoard your money and stick it in your piggy bank because you might need it on a rainy day. No. Right. It's about sharing it. And I always tell her, and I take it back and I say, I brought your quarter back, but I've got another quarter for you. Put it back in your piggy bank and you can give it to somebody else. And so you can have these conversations which empower them. And I think it's really important now when we're, facing all the things that we're facing. We have enough insecurity in life. We've had enough up level and, all of this. Just having so many things, in motion, like all the gears are turning. There's nothing in life that's stable for a lot of us right now. And so people are getting furloughed. Eviction notices are going out for people that haven't been able to pay their rent, or all these different things. And nobody really knows what's going to happen with whatever in the country in the next few months.
Right.
So, like, is there something that we can actually count on? And I think there's nothing more important we can do right now than to build a rock solid financial foundation so that we can step out into 2021 with complete confidence, knowing that our money will never go backwards, knowing that we're not going to lose any money. These accounts have never gone backwards in 100 years. And so, how do we feel every morning if we know that our account's going forward? And so my whole thing is safety and security for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like just the communication around it, like, too, like, even if it is a little rocky, if you're not communicating about it, right, then, and a lot of times I feel like there's sometimes one person in the relationship that feels like they're just taking it all on too, and they're not, you know what I mean? Like they're burdening all of it, and that's not good either. And we used to have this thing that said healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. And if any one of those is not intact, right, the whole thing it doesn't work. And right now, a lot of people are having that finances, and if they don't really have a means of dealing with it in a healthy way, right, it's going to eventually, it's going to be, you know, mental. It's going to be a mental issue for them, as well as as well as a breakdown then in their physical health, because they're all connected. When someone said, "What do you think's more important?" one time, I'm like, that you can't really say which one's more important, because they're all interconnected.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, what I think a lot of people aren't realizing, I mean, we get to be comfortable in, you know, so people were just going to work, they're putting money in their 401k, you know, they're getting their paycheck on Friday, or if they're entrepreneurs, or if they're stay-at-home moms, you know, whatever that is. But we got kind of comfortable in how things were going. But now, I mean, with so many people being furloughed, I mean, will people even be going back to work? And so it's a great time to take a look at, you know, because a lot of companies are actually going under as well. And I mean, we remember Enron and, you know, other companies, when they went under, so did the 401ks that all the employees had worked all their lives for. And I just want to see that. It's not right. It's not fair. And so we want to move that money out. If you leave the company, your money needs to come with you. And so there's lots of ways to do that. And, you know, that's what it can really help you, help people be able to come out with a whole new enthusiasm and a whole new optimism on what they can do when they feel like they have that, you know, foundation.
Right. Absolutely. So, do you feel, and I'm actually really asking this question, but do you feel like having the kids involved in setting the budget at all, or understanding at least what the budget is in the family, is good? Or at what level would you, let's say they're of an age where they could kind of understand it, what's your recommendation?
I think that kids can really understand, you know, kind of like a pie chart concept, which, you know, we're going to take this much of our money and it's going to this, but not like maybe dollar amounts, and not like, you know, of course, maybe not percentages until maybe they're older or whatever. But I think it's important to say, you know, one of the things I tell my grandkids is, you know, pick what's really important to you, because you can have whatever you set your mind to, but you just can't have everything. You know, I mean, who wants everything anyway?
Right.
So you can have whatever you want. But I think especially I think maybe, you know, in the last decade or before that, maybe, you know, we were into so much consumerism. And so it was, you know, the new thing. And, you know, everybody thinks that everybody else has it figured out. But I sit across the kitchen tables from people all across the country, and I can tell you they don't. Everybody thinks everybody else knows what they're doing, but nobody does. And so, you know, like, there's so much that you can teach your kids around that. Basically that, hey, you know, money is what we need to survive. Money's not good or bad, but money is a tool. It's like water, right? We need to drink water. Water's not good or bad. We want to drink good water, right? We want to drink healthy water. We want to make sure we exercise and do all those things. And so part of that is having a healthy understanding of money, so that it's not a good or bad thing. It's just something that is a necessity of life, and something that needs to, quote unquote, be mastered. You know, you need to have an understanding to be successful in life. Because if you carry around needless burdens, you know, like from your parents or from your spouse or from who knows what, or even like, you know, some people think that money is, especially like when I work with people in the coaching field or the spiritual, you know, realms, they think, well, I don't want to charge, or, you know, money's not a spiritual thing. And I don't think that's true. I mean, I think that, you know, we have money as a currency, and we need it to flow. And if we can all just let go of trying to hang on to it, it will flow for everybody, and everybody will.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, this is where my shift had to happen, right? Because money is, like you said, it's not, I don't know if I thought of it more as good or bad, but there's an energy. It's just an energy. And, you know, I started to realize the more energy that I had, the more things I could do, particularly in my business. So that was a big shift for me. But a lot of mine did come, and I love my dad. So, you know, I joke about it, but you know, but I do feel like more communication would have been so valuable for us. But I also feel like from all kinds of places, we get these core beliefs that get developed, and we don't even know they're sitting there. I mean, I've actually done some of that work of kind of digging into some core beliefs, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that belief. And then I test, I'm like, oh my God, I do. So get rid of that. Like, it's not serving me at all. Right. Yeah. So I think that's fascinating. What do you think, like when you sit down with we'll say a couple, but like, do you feel like there's certain things that are always like their biggest aha moment that they kind of come across, or is there some tip or trick that you share that they go, oh my God, I never knew that? Like,
Well, so most people don't know that there's a way that you can use the IRS tax code to build tax-free wealth, right? And to have all of these things. It's like a holistic plan. So most people don't know that. So that's what, kind of we teach, and that's what we talk about. But I think one thing, if there's one kind of sentence that it always surprises me, and it hit me the same way, the deer in the headlights thing when I realized it, but that was a long time ago, is that the reason that we even save is so that we have cash flow in the future. We're not really saving to save. We're not saving to invest. We're trying to help our money grow so that we have cash flow later in life. So cash flow is what we need now, and cash flow is what we're going to need later in life. And the system as it is really set up to keep that money off and, have fees paid over and over and over on the same money. And we talk about all that. We show you how it works. And that's what we think doesn't work. And so, but one thing is I just say, so why are you saving? And they're like, well, I don't. A lot of times people they can't really, verbalize. But when I say, but it's for cash flow in the future, because cash flow will determine how you experience life. If you have cash flow, if you have money, then you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You're going to be able to go to those courses like you went to, right? And spend money to learn more. You're going to be able to, because I find when women have money, first they invest in their family, then they invest in themselves, and then they invest in the community. And so I think if we have a holistic plan where you're not worried and your money doesn't go backwards, it will give people, American families, the confidence to be able to say, yeah, I would like to do that. I really would like to donate my time over here, or give a food baskets, or do something like that. And that is the conversation that families, I think, need to be having. And if you're always kind of worried and scrimping about money, it makes those conversations more difficult.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I want to look at the questions that you and I talked about kind of covering, just to make sure we're hitting all of them. How can we keep more of what we make? And I think that's what you were talking about a little bit already. Yeah. And then we talked cash flow, and what does that really mean? And I think you just did hit onto that, which I think is really, you're right. That's kind of like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like,
I know. And it's so simple, right, Cheryl? It's so simple, but until I read it and I was like, well, yeah. And so if we think about it that way, then it becomes, then you can teach your children about it's opportunities in life. It's what you can actually do, the things that you can experience, because you have, because you have the ability to do that, and you have the confidence knowing your money's never going backwards. And I think that's really the huge thing.
Yeah. And I also feel like people that are strapped month to month, right? Always trying to make it. And I've been there. Trying to make money from that, right? Yeah. Spend more time thinking about money than people that actually have, you always think about, oh, you're just about money. Well, you know what? When you have money, you don't have to spend as much time. Like I've had to do, oh my God, like if I put that check in, I've got to get to the bank, and the gyrations I've done at times.
Been there, done that. Absolutely. I think we all have. And it's not a place you want to be, because all you spend your time thinking about then is, oh my gosh, what if the check bounces before I get to the bank, or something like that, where instead of thinking about money, which is, oh yeah, I'll take these things in order. And I think it's also, I think a big thing is looking at priorities, seeing what's really important, and then making sure that that's what you're putting your money into, whatever that means, to you, whatever areas are most important, because then you feel like you're accomplishing something. You feel that you're, you're making your world, your, family world or whatever, a better place. And so I think that's really important. And, I always say, like in 2008 when the market crashed, I said, of course we care about the American economy. And right now, of course, there's so much I could say about taxes. We have to shield our money from taxation. And there's really, really important things that we teach in the course, because we want people to understand that the government's just passed out trillions of dollars, and the American economy can't really absorb all that. And so, there's some people that most of America, I say middle America, because those are my clients. My clients aren't the really wealthy, and my clients aren't the people that are really, really strapped. But my clients are everybody in between. And I just worry that what's going to happen, government doesn't make or do anything to generate its own wealth. It doesn't make anything. It just takes from taxpayers. And so all of this money is going to have to get paid back. And guess where it's going to come from? Middle America already pays like 78% of the taxes that are paid in the country. So when they pass out all these trillions of dollars, I know families need that, and I have no problem with that. But do we want to put ourselves where we're just standing there with a big old target on our chest, waiting for the government to come, smack us down? Or are we going to put our money in places when where you store your money is the most important thing? Are we going to store our money in places where, using the IRS tax code, the government can't tax it, and it's basically, it grows for you tax free, and it lets you keep all your Social Security and lots of different reasons, and that's what the wealthy do. And so if we just realize that, that's, I think, can be something that's most beneficial. Is it what we've been doing all the way along? Probably not. But, we have, the world's changing. Nobody needs to, nobody's going to question that. And so what are we going to do to go forward? And I think we have to protect ourselves and our family, because it's not really the American economy so much as our personal economy that we want to protect.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So I would love to just encourage everybody who's watching this, especially if you have, you should do it anyway, but I'm going to put this back up here one more time. This is the Rhythm of Riches. You can tap into it, but I would really love it when you did it, if you do have like kids that are of an age that can kind of comprehend and understand. I mean, if they're obviously 2 and 3 years old, might be a little premature, but really kids learn so fast, and they do get it. Mine actually really engaged into coming up with all kinds of ways that we could actually do fun stuff and not have it cost a lot, but be a part of it. And it wasn't about scarcity, it was about abundance and really having a better relationship with money than what I did, because I wanted something different. But again, circling things, highlighting things that you get from it that you feel like, man, I could take this to the kitchen table and share it with my family. And I would love to see that. So, and then the other thing I want to put up here, because I know you have all kinds of resources on your website too. Why don't you talk a little bit about what some of those resources are as well?
So sometimes I feel like with a lot of people, sometimes the first step is the hardest. And I totally get that, because that's where I was. I felt like it was a daunting task. I felt like, where do I even start? So if you just go to my website, I have a tax checklist, which is, of course, it's a perfect time for that. But, just what are you going to need to get your taxes done? I have a financial planning checklist. And then I also have a retirement checklist, all of them free, of course. And then I also have my ebook, which is a beginner's guide to building wealth. And it's called the Wealth Report. And you can download it right there. And wealth is an acronym for the Y. The W is for the Y. The E is for education, of course, dear to my heart. The A is for attitude or mindset. The L is for leverage. How does it work over time? The T is for time. And then the H is for health. So we need physical health, just to your point, Cheryl, when you said about the circle, right? We need financial health as well. And so it's a beginner's guide. It's all there for you, free, no charge. And so I'd love to have you grab the resources. And then if you want, we don't have a set date for Rhythm of Riches, but if you log on, we'll let you know once we schedule it. And of course, it's a 4-day live boot camp, 45 minutes at 11 a.m. Eastern. And again, we just
do that. Is that like a recurring thing that you're going to be doing, the Rhythm of Riches, or is it is that a recurring thing that you do on the Rhythm of Riches, or is it something you'll be recording and then having available that way? Or
so I have done it. I've done it a recurring basis this year. I'm really working with my team right now to figure out what we want to do. I'm also really wanting to launch a masterclass, which would be like a 3-hour masterclass. So I'm deciding how that's all going to work. I'm not sure I've really decided that yet, but it's something that the information will definitely be recurring, because it's so important. And
because I know sometimes these shows will have a life, they have a shelf life that lasts longer. So obviously just go there, check out and see if you missed this, there'll be other things, or, an audio or video of this. So definitely check that out. It's lifestylewealthgroup.com. Just want to say that out loud, because I know we go out on podcast a little bit. So the first one was rhythmofriches.com. And then this one with other resources is lifestylewealthgroup.com. So great information. We do, it's always amazing how fast it goes, but we do close out every show.
Conversations we've talked for a while already. So
we close out with a dot, which is a drop of thought, like a pearl of wisdom. So if you were going to leave a parting dot for our audience, what would that be?
I believe that money is for our lifestyle, right? There's no happy ending if the journey's not fun. And so I believe that money is here as a blessing to all of us. And so my dot would be just to take a look at how you can enjoy the journey and then enjoy your retirement years and leave a legacy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for covering this topic. I was so excited to have somebody come on and talk about this because I feel like we need to have conversations about it. So thank you so much. I do close out the show with the same dot because it's really my heart and my passion, but ripples don't flow in, they flow out. And if we really want to see change out in our world, then it starts in our own homes with our own families around our own kitchen tables. So anyway, I thank all of you for being here. Go hug your family and, love on them, but let those conversations roll. So thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.